addressing the students under the utilization of resources is our topic now. Now, how to address the students when we the students are utilizing the learning resources, we will learn now. Some essential skills are required to teacher and the students in the laboratory when they are utilizing the resources, especially some skills which are essential by using the mathematical skit. At least the one is recording the time from watches and clocks from the laboratory and the mathematics kit in different ways, and the second one is measuring the weights from the different type of lab balances. There will be so many types of balances, as you know, so at least they should have this type of essential skills uh, to utilize the uh, learning resources in the mathematics laboratory. For this, the trainer should be there in the laboratory, otherwise the student should have the minimal essential skills. For this, the teacher has to take care first personally, and he should be trained, or he should feel that there should not be any instructional error or the operator's error, so then only you can use these learning resources effectively in the mathematics laboratory. So how to address the students? We should address the students as the mathematics teacher in the mathematics laboratory. That means they should arrange the operators in a proper order in the laboratory, then only they can do the things in the right way to get the results properly. So we must instruct the students to arrange the operators, devices or equipments, whatever it may be, in the proper order in the laboratory to experiment the things. And we should address the students to avoid the damages of all the operators devices which are using in the laboratory. That should be handled carefully and cautiously, otherwise they spoils with their negligence in the laboratory, and it may causes to the threat to the students life also sometimes. So we should always warn the students and inform or train the students how to use these devices and operators properly in the right way. And most of the appliances, operators, devices, instruments, materials used in the laboratory should be used according to the guidelines of the teachers. So we have to give some guidelines as the teachers in the mathematics laboratory. We should inform to the students regarding the hazardous, all these things, and how we should give some guidelines how the operators or devices should be used to demonstrate or verify the things which they want to verify or experiment. So how to use that one, the device, and when to use the device, and why to use the device. They should have the clear idea about these three things: how to use, why to use, and when to use. Then only they can use the operators properly in the right order, in the right way. So, and some more guidelines and suggestions can be given to the students. The teachers should must give some suggestions and guidances to the students, and guidelines also to the students. We discussed already how to use the particular operators in a particular time, and that should be observed by the teachers strictly, otherwise the equipment or the operators may be spoiled or damaged. So the teachers should monitor and observe the learner who is experimenting with the equipment, should be observed strictly and monitored very clearly. And the teacher must be well trained or well versed in setting up various experiments. When only the teacher is expert in experimenting the operators, then only they can guide the students properly. So the teacher should be expert in utilization of the operators or experimenting with the equipments. And for this, the pre-laboratory session is useful to the teacher as well as to the students. What is a pre-laboratory session mean? When we want to experiment any experiment, before that only, before entering into the laboratory only, we have to do some exercise before entering into the laboratory to get the things done. So what is that? It's a good idea, and it develops a framework for the working in a laboratory. So the students who are not in a good idea of the concepts, they will get a clarity over the subject. So it is a pre laboratory session is a good idea to maintain the problem of indiscipline, and it leads a good discipline values among the students. So what is the pre laboratory session? That means we have to conduct the exercise before the enter into the laboratory. What should be recorded, what should be observed, what should be identified, what should be displayed, and where are the material, how to use it, why to use it, when to use it. All this should be trained to the students. So it prepares the learners for the activity. So the learners comes to know how what precautions should be taken and what some safety measures should be taken in the laboratory when they enter into the lab. So they will get a good idea on the concept to be learned. So at last there should be post laboratory session also is invitable by the students, from the students. Then automatically they can conclude what they learned in the um, laboratories. If you take some if you take example, some of the angles in a triangle is 180 degrees. So there are some mistakes are there. Some means SOME is there, but it is some, the total. Just you note down it, and some mistakes are occurred in the slides, the spelling mistakes. Just go through that one and make it correct yourself, right? If you take some example, some of the angles in a triangle is 180 degrees. So to experiment, to experiment how whether they are 180 degrees or not in a triangle, we can educate the students by using different type of angles and measuring the angles, how to measure the angles, how to club the angles, how to add the sum of the angles in a triangle. And all these things we have to get trained the students before the laboratory session, and then only we ask the students to enter into the lab. Automatically they can measure the angles using the protractors or other things, and they can club. Then automatically they can generalize the sum of the angles in a triangle is 180 degrees. So after that they will come and they will take number of angles, number of triangles and their angles, and they will go for some generalization. They will discuss among themselves in the post laboratory session, and they will conclude that the sum of the angles in a triangle is 180 degrees. So this is the post lunch post laboratory session advantage. So in this way we have to address the students under the utilization of the learning resources. Thank you.